Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of A Safe Space for Men. I'm your host as usual. Please remember to rate, review, like, and subscribe to the podcast. I truly appreciate it. Hey y'all, how's everybody doing out there? It's a little bit past Thanksgiving, so it's like the official start of the holiday season. Hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Got to spend time with some family, your kids, or by yourself, whatever it is you like to do. But we ramping up for Christmas now and the new year. I'm trying to close the year out. It's cold as shit in Philly now. Finally, like after our little like 6 months of summer that we had, it was 70 all the way well into November. I think today it's like I was just outside. It's like 30 something degrees. It's pretty cold. It's relatively cold. As y'all know, I don't like the cold. I prefer 70s and up. So I'm very much looking forward to April, May, June, to get back around here. And hopefully next year, hopefully I'll buy a house next year and I can live in warm climate all year round. Which will give you an idea why I'm looking to move. But yeah, about to get into it, man. My Thanksgiving was good. It was just me and Jordan. The other kids there with their moms and the other families and stuff, which is fine because for like the first Thanksgiving in a really long time, I didn't feel the need to cook a big dinner. I didn't feel compelled to like host anybody, even if it was like, even my mom coming over. Like it was just me and Jordan. Like I cooked. I always started turkey the night before. I was done cooking by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I watched all the football games. I relaxed. I took 7 naps. Like it was a great day for me. We ate and we relaxed and we just got ready for the next day because I was back to work the next day. But my Thanksgiving was good. Again, just getting ready for Christmas. I felt like yesterday my kids. It's Tuesday right now, so yesterday my kids were just like really dragging, and it's weird. Kids are so weird, so funny. So of course they go to bed at. I put them down like 8:30, 9 o'clock. That's when they done getting their hair done, and baths or showers or whatever. And of course, you hear him in there like giggling and stuff. So I go in there and check him a couple of times, and had to let him like, y'all gotta go to bed because you're not gonna be getting up at 6. You're not gonna get up. You're gonna be tired. And obviously, I wouldn't. I fell asleep. So my assumption is that they stayed up past their bedtime playing the 2 small ones like they always do. But yesterday they were just dragging. We were about 15 minutes late getting to school altogether because I got to drive to 2 different schools. Emma's in a different area of the city, and Jordan is also in a different area. So. The commute in the morning with both of them it can get a little chaotic, as any of y'all that knows that's taking kids to school, going to work early in the morning, all that shit. Like traffic is ridiculous. I feel like traffic is so crazy now. Like where are all these people coming from? It's no way all these people got jobs. The economy says different. But yeah, so we were running late. And then today, Jordan is up and wired to go to school because it's her teacher's birthday. And I'm just like, I'm offended because you live with me and I need you to get up on time every day. You getting up on time and wanting to be like energized in the morning directly can affect or hinder my morning with the things that I have to do. But she was all excited, ready to go to school, just not tired, and I'm just like, you know what? Like kids, so funny like that, man. I will say as far as Christmas though, like now we're into the Christmas season. I'm not really in the spirit yet. It normally kicks in, like it'll just randomly kick in, but I'm just like this year I'm pretty sure I normally do huge, ridiculous Christmases. If you know me or you follow me, you see like I go over the top. Like I think last year, like legitimately there was like 100 and like over 100, probably 125 gifts under my tree. It's not to sound arrogant or nothing, but just taking into account I got 5 kids, I have sisters, I have siblings, I have nieces and nephews, like my mother. There are a lot of people that I actually do make sure I get gifts for. This year, we're just doing immediate family, just because it's been getting really expensive. I'm going to make sure the kids get the things that they want and need, and my mother, of course, and my sister, because she, is the constant in my life who's always assisting and helping. But not even beyond that, just she's my sister, so. But yeah, I still want to give her a flag. Like my sister really does come through for Jordan. She's the only one, like that like really steps up. I mean, she does small things like picking her up from school and stuff like that, but it dramatically changes my week. Allows me to work more hours and provide, and just being able to do the shit that I need to do as a dad. She really helps out with that. So thank her for that. Something I discovered this week in conversation. So I was on the phone with a friend, and we were just talking. Like we just randomly ran into like the conversation of like when you're dating and you move in with somebody, or you guys move in together. And I was like, I immediately like, you ever like somebody asks you something and you don't really want to do it, and it like, or it catches you off guard. Like my heart skipped. Like I was really uncomfortable with the idea, which led me to realize like I fear living with somebody again. Like, and I don't know if that's like a trauma response, but like yeah, because my last time living with somebody was not a good. It just wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. And I think now it's like the idea of, and I mean obviously I got to get through that because I want to be a husband or whatever one day and be in a healthy relationship and all that stuff, having emergency contact. But the idea of it is like, it really like makes my heart like dum 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 dum, because so much goes into that. It's and obviously for one, I would have to do a better job of vetting the person, making sure that they were clean, and like we were on the same page or going in the same direction. It's never even about finances. It's really about how a person is in a house. As far as cleaning, as far as the people they allow in the house, the energy. I mean, it's just there's so much that goes into it. But my biggest thing will always definitely is the cleanliness part. I'm not the most organized person, but I am clean. If that makes sense. Like it's just like I have a lot of stuff. It's hard to organize, but my house is clean. It smells good. Like it's just I need organization, and that is where a woman will come in at. But I also discovered I got a fear about letting people get close to my kids, especially the smaller ones, because like all things, anyone, if you date or if you've been in serious relationships with someone that's not the person you have kids with, your kids become attached to them. They develop relationships with them, and then when you and them don't work out, it can either go one or two ways. The person can still be in the kid's life if they want to maintain that relationship, or they just completely remove themselves. And obviously, the second one, it can be really traumatizing for the kids, because they don't know, they're small. My small kids are 5 and 10, so if they're developing relationships with these other people, and then it's suddenly taken away from them, it's they're not old enough and their brain isn't designed to even understand that. So that's something else that I'm leery about. I mean, again, obviously there'll come a point where I'll get there. I'll have to get there. I really won't have a choice. And hopefully, God willing, it'll be the right person, and we won't it won't be anything that'll be a detriment to my children. But yeah, I just want to speak on that. I was like, it hit me hard this week, and I was like, pause, and it was just like, what? Like, I didn't even realize it because I had never thought about it, I never even spoke on it, but it was just stuff that I was learning in conversation with a friend. I want to talk about having boundaries today, and holding people accountable. Like, I think it's so important because once you let a person know what your boundaries is, and then you got to hold them to that, or hold people accountable for the things they do or don't do in your life, whether it's good or bad, but just making sure that they're responsible, because like people don't reciprocate or show up for you the way you show up for them. Like you really got to hold them to that, and they don't necessarily owe you anything, but you kind of have a better idea of how to handle them going forward. And what I've discovered is having boundaries, it kind of lands you in a lonely place, and not like, oh my God, I'm alone, I have no friends, but more so like there's a period you go through where you're evaluating people, and you're like, okay, it could be something as simple as someone's gonna get offended, but whatever, because someone gets offended every week. But I could be something. I'm using the example of I could have a party for my daughter, and a certain particular person or people don't show up, and it could be a consistent thing because obviously I have parties throughout the year. So obviously, common sense. I don't expect everyone to show up to 5 parties. That would be ridiculous. But what I'm saying is, if a person consistently doesn't show up for you the way you show up for them, because the minute they hit you and like, hey, I'm having a party for my kid, and you're there with gifts and stuff like that, you have to like reevaluate, because you don't show up to none of my stuff, and it ain't even about you showing, but the gift is about you showing up. Because I would. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it, but I know I could show up to an event without a gift. Because if I just ain't got it, I ain't got it. Whatever's going on. But and vice versa, I'm not looking to get anything from anybody. So that's just an example. I don't want anybody to be offended, because it seems like, especially these last couple weeks, it seems like no matter what I say, someone gets offended. But whatever, kill yourself. But yeah, I have to, and I am doing a better job of holding people to that, because I feel like when you have boundaries, like it provides the opportunity for you to fill that space with people that respect your boundaries. You know what I mean? Like, you're allowing people to decide whether or not, okay, do you want to be a part of this? Do you want to be around? Because like, we're all gradually changing every day. Like, the season that I'm in, it could be different from where you are, and vice versa. And I just want people that value me around me, and vice versa. Like, there are things I aspire to do and things I want to do, and I got big dreams, and just as I get older, understanding like everybody's not going to be able to, be along for the ride, you know what I mean, or be there to celebrate me, and just getting more comfortable with that and understanding it and accepting it. And I mean, like, there's just things I just don't want to do, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be like if like, I don't smoke weed, so there would be no reason for me to constantly be around people that all they do is smoke weed all day. Now, I'm not knocking anybody that smokes weed. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's not something that I do. Do I hang around people that smoke weed? Yes, but they don't smoke weed all day, 24/7. There's nothing for me to do where y'all in this space this thing that y'all doing. You know what I mean? It's different if it's like a party or something like that. But like, if literally all you do is wake up and smoke weed all day, there's nothing that you and I can really do together, because like, your whole day is based upon smoking weed. That's not what I want to do. I also realized that all these past couple weeks, I gotta have boundaries with my children as well, and that is really important, especially for me. Excuse me. Especially for me as my kids get older. I got a 21-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 17-year-old that is approaching 18. And as they get older, you have to you gotta allow them to graduate from the teenage era onto womanhood and adulthood. Because again, as they're getting older, if you got teenagers or grown kids, the first thing they screaming is, I'm grown, I'm grown, I'm grown. I can make my own decisions, I can do this, da 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 da. But I think you also have to allow them to live in that when they come back. And it's not to say to not help them or be there for them, because as parents, that's what we should do, we want to be. But when they become grown, quote unquote, you have to pick and choose, because part of their growth is them being in these adult situations and realizing or figuring out how to navigate through them, which is the space that I'm in now. And I'll tell you a short, brief story, because I don't want to bash my baby, because I love I love all my children. Of course, my oldest, I love her to death. I love all of them. But she had, I don't want to say we got into it. Let's say we had a disagreement. She had reached out to me. My birthday was on the 19th of November. She turned 21. My baby's 21. She's officially legal. She can drink, do all that stuff that she wants to do. But she reached out and she wanted me to help out with a birthday party, this and that. And I simply said, hey, I'll let you know what I can do. Because obviously I have children in my house. I have other things that's going on. I have a lot that I'm paying for. It's things I'm trying to do. So from a financial standpoint, and before disclosure, I think she reached out maybe 4 or 5 days out, maybe even a week from the party date. And so I'm gonna tell the story, then I'll tell you what I think what the problem is. So I told her, I'll get back to you. A couple days later, she texted, hey, what's going on? Just let her know, hey, I can't do it. It's not really in my budget right now. But hey, if there's something that you want cooked, get the food, bring it to me, I'll cook it. Which again, because time is money, and I think that week I was working a bunch of doubles. So I'm anticipating I'll just take a day off and I'll cook everything the night before or the day of, and you'll have all your food. You just have to go get it. Because ladies and gentlemen, food is not cheap. Um, so, long story short, she got upset. Oh, you could just told me no from the jump. Da, 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 da. And I'm looking at the phone. I'm just like, because my natural reaction is to get aggressive, and I don't, yeah, that's just the parent that I am. Uh, but I think so. Part of the problem I think is with my children, especially the older ones, is so for so long, daddy is like I always make a way. I always come through, and I mean that speaks to me obviously as a dad. Like I do a great job, make sure my kids have everything they need. But the downfall that is that when you tell them no, they don't know how to take it. So when it's like, no, I can't do that, they're not used to hearing that. And at first I was a little angry. I was like, who this girl think? Like, why do you think that I'm, Superman? I just can't. But, and I'm pretty sure, because we'll talk about it when I see her, I'm pretty sure, and the conversation will be way different. But, because I had some time to think about it, and I'm like, it's probably because, like, you always make a way. You always figure shit out, Ron. You always come through. You're consistent in that aspect of fatherhood to where they know you're going to do it, like, no matter what. But as they get older, you can't do it no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, she's an adult. Also, I mean, just to be frank, it was too short of a notice. And there's some other things that I feel like she should be more focused on in life, which I won't go into because that's not it's not what we're here to talk about. But it was just a conversation between me and her, and yeah, I just think she should be focused on other things. I'm always proud of my children. I love my children. I'm supportive. But again, this is one of them moments where you're like, you know what? You don't understand my position, and that's cool. But again, the boundaries of, you know what? And then I also, to go a little further into it, I had to let her know, like, hey, we love each other, but you can't only reach out when you need something. And because that can't be the relationship. That can't be the relationship. That's never been the relationship. I don't only reach out to you if I need you to watch your siblings. You know what I mean? Or do some hair. Like, that's not the relationship. I can reach out, check on you. How you doing? Are you okay? Are you safe? That's my biggest thing, is making sure my kids are safe. So, for me, it's just understanding, like, when they get older, they outgrow you, and you have to let them outgrow you. Something else I thought about is like, kids will always blame their parents when their lives are not going the way that they want it to go, and because that's like the easiest thing to do. And I think if that happens, you kind of just like, you gotta roll with the punches. Because I think at the end of the day, I know for me, like, my kids know what type of man I am, what type of father I am, what type of parent I am, and that'll supersede any in the moment anger or frustration they may or may not have with me. But I also gotta understand, like, as your kids get older and they move out and they're in adulthood, you can't allow them to disrupt your household. And that's not saying that my child, that's what she was doing. No, I'm talking in general now, because ultimately my household is priority. The people in my household are priority. They supersede everybody. My kids at home supersede my mother. My kids at home supersede my kids that don't live with me. And you can't disrupt this household. You can't disrupt my peace. And that's just my perspective on it, because if anything crumbles in my house, it's my responsibility. I gotta handle it. I gotta take care of it, for us, because it's us and then it's everybody else. That's what I always tell my kids, like the ones that live here. It's us and then it's everybody else, no matter what. And also, don't be afraid to let your kids know, like, when they think they're grown, like, okay, if you're grown, then you shouldn't be asking me for anything. You know what I mean? Because when you do, it does come with advice. And I'm like that with all my kids. When you ask me for something, and I think it's something that you should be handling on your own, I'm coming back with some advice. All right, yeah, you know what? I got you, but you need to do this, and that differently, because I don't think your priorities are where they need to be at. And it's really hard to tell the people you love no. It's really hard for the people that you love to hear you say no. And it's okay to piss your kids off too. It really is. If you ain't pissing your kids off, I feel like you ain't doing it right. Like, you should just be because we can't deliver on everything. We can't always come through for them. You just can't. It's not reasonable. And I think it's always just as parents, we want what's best for them. But sometimes tough love is the best love. It really is. I've definitely graduated into this phase of kind of like very much being like letting them learn from the mistakes, and in some cases allow them to fall flat on their faces. It's nothing wrong with that either, because that's the only way they're gonna learn. As my friend Ant always says, he says if they don't know the ground is, if they don't fall flat on their face, they don't know the ground hurt. And I think that's a wonderful way to look at it. We cannot keep getting in the way of their consequences, of their actions. You can't. And it's we just can't. So there's that. Again, I love my children. I literally, I'm the protector. I will always. No one fucks with my kids because I don't allow it to. But you just can't. So back to boundaries and people and holding them accountable. You gotta be. Well, I've definitely become comfortable. And this is probably. I ain't gonna lie. The election might have did this for me, because I had already been like closely monitoring people and how they show up or don't show up for me, and vice versa. But yeah, this was like when people choose sides, you gotta be okay with leaving them right where they at. You know what I mean? It's nothing personal. It ain't no beef. It ain't like no on-site fighting. But it's just like, especially if it's a situation where I know I'm right, not believe, where I know I'm right, and you choose the other side, or you choose to not address or check the other side. Cool. It's no beef. It's no malice. It's none of that. If I see you, I'll probably speak to you. But it's kind of like you can just stay over there, because the way I show up for people and the way I show up for my friends, and some of these people in particular, and then for them to like, again, not reciprocate, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I see where I stand. But again, you can never call me for anything again in life. You know what I mean? Like nothing. And that's probably going to sound cold, but I just think we too old to be letting people play in our face or play around with people. Like, why the fuck are we doing that? No, go on. And again, understand it doesn't make them a bad person, but just understand they don't see how like certain things are affecting you, and if they don't have the ability to see how something can really be hurting you, that's a problem. And I feel like the friendship absolutely has to be reevaluated, because a real friend, that just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. And be as unavailable to people as they are to you. Like seriously. That's something else I'd really just start. My feet are in the ground. Like like what? Like every time you call, I rush to respond. Nah, I'm gonna take an hour. I'm gonna take 2 hours. I'm gonna take a couple minutes. Or I'm not showing up to whatever it is you got going on, because again, it's just like, it's stuff got to be reciprocated, man. And again, it's never. I'm a keep saying this. It's never about money or material. It's about presence, and you being present for me when I'm being present for you. That's huge for me. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm like, I love celebrating people. I'm big on birthdays, holidays, all that stuff. So like, you got something going on? Yeah, me and my kids will be there. We gonna come celebrate y'all, and we're gonna get you a nice gift. But it gotta be reciprocated as well. You know what I mean? Like we going into 2025. First of all, we should have stopped probably 10 years ago. Can't nothing be one-sided. Nothing in your life can be one-sided at all. The shit is a two-way street. It really is. And I'm really not explaining anything to people in regards to my peace and me protecting my insanity. I don't have to. These are the things that are important to me. Like, you know what I mean? If I'm fucked up, I'm no good to nobody. I did want to talk about also, so I was on a podcast recently, and it back talking about how like I've said some things and people get offended, like the election stuff, people are offended, and it's just like, I feel like people will take, it's like, it's not even just in the media, it's like in life, like people will take a clip or take a part of something you said and then run with it, and it's like motherfucker. So I was on a podcast recently, Unbrotherly Love, Unsisterly Advice, with my boy J King, JK Playware TV, and we actually shot 2 episodes. The other episode is dropping this week on Friday, so make sure you check that out. The first episode dropped last week. It was a lot of fun. We covered a lot of really good topics, had some really good conversations, again, that I feel like things that we should be speaking about. But it's like, what's with people being offended by things I say on here on other people's shows? And like, I really feel like if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Like seriously, as corny as that sounds, but like you really shouldn't feel any type of way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the clip for y'all and let y'all hear it, and y'all let me know what y'all think. But this is exactly what I said, and here you go. So that was what I said. And of course, as usual, people got offended. Like, oh my god, like, I had a conversation with somebody in particular that wasn't like on that. We were just talking. It's a really good friend of mine over like 15 years, and she was like breaking down like the parts where she was okay with it, but after we talked, she understood what I was saying because again, as someone like who is like you can talk to, like you have a conversation with, and she's a great person, a great mother, um, really out here doing it. You know what I'm saying? Providing for her kids on her own, like muscling it, like she's doing an awesome job. Uh, but real fast, so because something I said, she was like, well, I was like, well, there's the whole lot of pay immediately, bill notifications, this and that, and she's like, you don't know what she's saving her money for. I would, as if it's fair to say that saving money and not paying bills might be the stupidest shit you can do. Like, we all want to save money, but saving money for what over paying your bills? Um, that was something that stuck out to me. And broke isn't always about money. And I know the bed on the floor comment probably got some people the wrong way. And it doesn't mean It doesn't mean that you're dirty. It's just we're just saying like, well, basically my point was like there are other priorities because the topic was about getting flown out. There are priorities that you should be dealing with over flying out or getting flew out to see a man. Even if it costs you $0, that time that you're spending, you could be generating money for your family, generating a way to provide for your family, especially if you have children. If you don't have children, this probably might not apply to you. But I would definitely think if you don't have any kids and your bills are late or things like that, you are definitely not prioritizing your priorities. Um, I also hate how it's okay for women to use a single mom excuse and then we can't because again, like as I went into, like I'm a single dad. Like what are we talking about? It's the same thing. Single mom, single dad is the same exact thing. It's a person that is solely responsible for the care and everything of the children in the household that they live in. So that can't be an excuse. If it's an excuse for you, then it's an excuse for a man. But you guys won't accept that for a man. So I just very much want things to be equal. Um, like I don't not again, it was a good episode, but not always. She always come off as like real shady. That was a lot of the feedback I got. Like people don't like her at all, at all. Like it's people were texting me on the side like, yo, like 'cause they was watching the episode like, yo, like why is she acting like that? And there's even a point where I'm going like, I'm always mental health guy. I really think that she needs to see a therapist. Not because like she's crazy, but I just think there's some underlying issues there. As a person that's gone through therapy is going through therapy. That is my advice. But yeah, if you listen to what I said, I was just saying that nobody should require what they cannot provide for themselves, much less reciprocate. I should not require a woman to come into my house and keep my house clean and my house is already dirty. I should not require for a woman to come in my house and wash and fold my clothes if I don't know how to do it. I should not, require for you to come in and do my daughter's hair who hasn't had her hair done in 3 years. Like there is just things that that's basically the point that I was trying to make. And if your life is in shambles, you kind of have bigger fish to fry. The last thing you want to do is bring somebody into chaos. Obviously, nothing is perfect. If I meet somebody today and I start dating somebody today, my life isn't perfect. Obviously, yeah, I have finances and I have things that I'm trying to do. I have bills. I have a life. There's nothing perfect about my life. But what I'm saying is, me bringing a person into a situation that is already chaotic or uncomfortable for me, then you begin to rely on that person. And obviously, everybody needs somebody. But when you rely on somebody and it doesn't work out, and this could be a trauma response, but when it doesn't work out, you are fucked. Like you are back to square one. As opposed to like when it doesn't work out and everything, for the most part, a good percentage of your life, everything is pretty much grounded and on a level where it's manageable. I think in the event it doesn't work out, it makes it a lot easier. But yeah, man, I just think we gotta prioritize our priorities. And also, a really another good example, me bringing a woman into my life, knowing damn well I got a woman that I've been dealing with or clinging on to, and then she finds out, it could be the mother of my kids, and then she finds out I have a girlfriend or whatever's going on, and then boom, she's slashing my tires. That's all I got for y'all today. Just prioritizing priorities. And then my message of the day is just don't expect others to give you what you give them. You can't expect people to move like you. Choose who and what chooses and nourishes you. That's all I really got. Pretty quick episode. One quick plug. Go get y'all some liquid gold hair oil. You can use it on your beard. If you see that's my beard is all glistening and shining. It's from liquid gold. If your edges ain't edging, go get some liquid gold. It's really good. She got liquid gold bars to wash your hair. That's really good. You can use that as well. I just washed my hair early this week. I washed Jordan's hair last night. It's one of the best products I've ever used in my life. So you go get your edges, get your life, get your hair together. As usual, thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. And until next time, peace.